How you going, guys? So welcome back to NZ Moper Outlaw Customs. So in response to Hombre Garage and they got called out to do a video about some of the sketchy cobbled together stuff, and
welcome to Hombre Garage. I'm Foghorn Leghorn. This is Speedy Gonzalez, and we're going to talk about a very cool project today.
So Mike over at My Car Shop challenged us to talk about the most cobbled up car, vehicles, crap that we have worked on. But we don't know what he's talking about. Because all the stuff we work on is good, awesome.
Everything we have is really nice. It's real nice. It's really nice.
Yep.
It's good.
So, out also Glenn, NZ Mopar Outlaw Customs, and his counterpart, American counterpart, Arco Horton. Here's a who. We know Arco's busy. We know you're busy, Arco, but if you have time, what is the most cobbled up thing you've seen, worked on, driven around, blah, blah, blah?
cobbled together stuff, and yeah, they just dragged something out of the pile and took it for a burn with no roof, no doors, almost a might have had kind of had a back of a cab and no fenders, and the bonnet or the hood was just sitting there. Nothing on the back, no lights. Oh yeah, and then broke down. They fixed it with a bit of wire, pulled the throttle on the old diesel. But anyway, personally I haven't got anything like that. I haven't really had anything like that myself, but when I was in Tasmania, because they, over here in New Zealand, there is probably the old rough thing getting around, but it wouldn't be on the road because we have an inspection every 6 months or 12 months, depending on the age of the vehicle and the mileage, for safety. But in Tasmania and other parts of Australia, there's no safety inspection. And boy, is there some piles of poo over there. Or as Jason said, shit. I think that's what his name is. They keep changing their names. But yeah, I used to work for a tyre company when I was in Australia the last time, and I used to do wheel alignments and all that sort of stuff, and a little bit of mechanical repair because we had a mechanic there as well. Hi Dan, if you're watching. But yeah, we've got some of the piles of poo that used to come in there because I was doing wheel alignments all the time, and the boys would bring in their forward drives and all that sort of stuff, and I swear that some of them hadn't had any steering components or suspension components put in them since they were new, because by God, they were just flogged out. I remember this one guy bought this, I'm trying to think, because there was so freaking many of them, but I can remember this one guy bought in this, might have been a Mitsubishi Pajero, like, might have been late, might have been early 90s, maybe very late 80s, sort of the real square shaped Pajeros. I think they were called Shoguns and other things in other places, but short wheelbase, two-door, hardtop Mitsubishi four-wheel drive. And it had been kind of lifted and whatever, but bigger tyres on it. When I mean bigger tyres on it, instead of like probably 31s or they probably would have been originally probably like a 235 75 15 or something originally. They had, think, like 32s or 3s on it or something like that, which you couldn't get much bigger than that over there. I think the biggest you got was 35s without having to be a competition truck. You know, like you pop a four-wheel drive truck and then it wasn't allowed on the road. And it's the same here. We can't go any bigger than a 35-inch tyre. But anyway, this thing, he wanted a wheel on it because it was just, you know, it wouldn't drive very nice. And it's like, so I threw it up in the hoist on the four-poster, lifted it up, put it on the things. I jumped out, locked the steering wheel, I grabbed the front wheel, and no shit of a lie, I could go like this. Like we're talking, it was an easy 5 or 6 inches of toe in and toe out. That's how much wheels in the front end of this thing, and that was just in the tyre rod ends and ball joints, and you know, all the suspension components just moving around. A little ain't slop in the steering box. But that was just one of multiple. I remember these girls come in one day. They were tourists, and I think they'd only been there a couple of weeks, and they had this, what was it, a Jeep, I think, like one of those, the really square Jeeps they sort of had about the end of the 80s, and they sort of run into the start of the 90s, like straight six, 4-door, you know, they're quite low. They want to leave, but they'd bought off somebody for, I don't know what they'd paid for it, and they come in, they were like, oh, there's a funny noise in the front end. So alright, so well, I'll jack it up and have a look, because it was only really me and the mechanic that were really mechanically minded, obviously. But so I jacked the front end up on this thing, and the front fucking wheel just about fell off it. And not because of the wheel nuts, because the ball joints were so worn out, and the wheel bearing was so worn out. The fucking hub, and the carrier fucking fell off it. It's just, and I had another guy come in, and he had it would have been a mid to early 2000s Hilux diesel 4-drive and whatever. And he come in and said, oh, I've got this really bad vibration, I can't work it out. I've had the wheels balanced and all that sort of stuff. I'm going, right, yeah, how many Ks on this thing? And he goes, oh, it was like 400,000 or something like that. And I said, oh yeah, okay. So have any suspension work or anything done to it and since you've had it? And he goes, oh no, I haven't really done anything to it. I said, how long have you had it? He goes, oh, I bought it at like 120,000 Ks. I'm like, right, give me the keys and I'll take it for a try. I was getting down the road, and I was like, oh yeah, I was just expecting a bit of a small vibration. And I think, because their workshop was right beside the highway, and you could drive across, basically down a little side road, and then you could drive across the highway and then go up, because we're right on the coast. I could go way up for about, I don't know, say half a mile or more, or maybe a mile, and then turn around and could come back. That was my little test track if I was ever done any wheel alignments or anything like that, or I could go a little bit further. You know, I could go about another half a K or a mile, and then I could turn around another little turnaround spot that's high on the coast. And it's like, oh yeah, I got it. I didn't even get out into the highway, like up this, it was probably a, what are we talking? A few hundred metres or a few hundred feet up the road before you got onto the highway when you went across this intersection piece. And I couldn't even get up that. And it was just that, like low speed, like I'm talking like 30 miles an hour or 50 Ks. And the frickin' thing was just fucking, front end was just flopping and frickin' screwing around. I was like, holy, how the fuck do you drive this thing around? So how long has it been like that? Oh, not really. It's had a bit of a vibration for a while. It's just slowly got worse, and now I can't figure out what's wrong with it. And I said, mate, I said, get the fucking gorse out of your pockets, or the cash out of your pockets. I said, go spend about 3 or 4 grand on the front of the fucking thing. And I said, I'll probably look at the back too while you're at it, because there's nothing fucking I can do for you. We jacked it up to have a decent look to see what was really wrong with it. The ball joints were stuffed top and bottom. All the bushes were stuffed in the A-arms, like in the suspension arms. They were just absolutely fucking hackers. The steering box wasn't too bad. It had a little bit of play in it, but it could be adjusted. But, I know, was it a steering box? No, it had a fucking rack in it too. So, yeah, it was all in the suspension and the ball joints. And I think the tyre rod ends had a bit of play in them, and the rack ends had a bit of play. They weren't too bad, but it was just all the A-arms and the ball joints were so flogged out. It was just, you're driving down the road and it's like, fuck, it was bad. And that's just 3 examples. Of man, I've driven some real pieces of shit over there, right? Like even like cars. I can remember this guy bought in a Commodore, which is like like the Holden Monaros, or I think they were Pontiac GDOs, those mid 2004, 2005s. So you guys, you know it on, but I'm talking a 4-door sedan version of that in Australia. This guy had this thing that had been lowered and all that sort of stuff, and he bought it in, and he wanted tyres fitted on the front of it, and swapped around, and then a wheel on it or something like that. I was like, oh yeah, right. I sort of looked at it and looked at him and was like, oh yeah, here we go. It's one of these. I'm convinced of it before I even get in it. So he handed me the keys, I jumped in it, and I backed it out, and there's a bit of a, on one side of the shed, because it's got two doors where you can drive big trucks in them with a big massive workshop out the back. One of the things never had a door there, so it's got quite a lip. So I drove it over that one just to test it. And by fuck, the front suspension just about fell out of it, yeah. Because you drive it out and it was like, clunk, clunk, clunk. I was like, this is a bit fucked. So we put it up in the belly lift, and I had a look underneath it. And oh yeah, just because all the suspension was all just stuffed in it. And I said, you're going to put tyres on this? And he goes, yeah, so I want to put the back tyres on it, and then put a new set of tyres on the back. I said, you're wasting your fucking time. I said, go fix it first, and then we'll put tyres in it. Because I said, you're only going to get a few weeks out of it, and those tyres that you put on the back, they're on the front. I said, they'll be gone. I said, your front suspension's about to fall out. I said, if you get another week or a month out of it, I said, you'll be doing really well before it collapses. So I've seen some beauties. I've seen some real beauties over there. Some of them are just, and like if it wasn't, and this would be fairly regularly. Like these are some of the ones that really stood out. But like, yeah, every week I'd be getting the wheel on it on a 4-wheel drive, and I'd just throw it up in the hoist, and there'd be, probably, I'm talking like, almost 2 inches of play just in the steering. Because I just get one of the guys, come over here, grab that front wheel, and I just be going with the other front wheel on the other side going clonk, 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 easy 2 inches of movement and all that suspension stuff without even trying, And I just go, yeah, right, I go through the guide, he goes, oh yeah, I know, he's done. So can you do a wheel on it? I said, well, not really, but what I'll do. So I'll lift it up and I'll wind it in so when it's driving down the road and the wheels pull back, driving forward, unless you're obviously in 4-wheel drive. But if it's just getting pushed down the road, like the front wheels aren't driving, so what I'll do is I'll wind it in until reading reasonably straight ahead so you don't destroy the tyres on it. But I said, don't leave it long, just get the fucking thing fixed. And that was a weekly, if not daily, occurrence. Some of the stuff over there is terrible. Like, because I can remember taking cars for a drive, trying to look for something, and it's just like, oh yeah, when was the last time I had anything done to the suspension or anything? Like, oh yeah, no, I've had it for 10 years. It's been a good vehicle. Yeah, no, it's all drives all good. Oh yeah, right. And because I'm used to the vehicles from here being fairly good, when they start getting worn, any like sort of, wouldn't say, like a little bit of wear, fine, but when anything starts to get a bit of movement over here, they just throw it out, they go, no, replace it, because it's a safety hazard. If it breaks or really falls to pieces, you're in the shit. Or if you happen to be in an accident, you'll have no insurance or anything like that. Well, they have no insurance over there either, but they just seem to keep driving them, if they're like that, because it's, if you cause an accident, well, you're liable for everything. But, with driving fairly good vehicles over here, fairly well maintained on average, like there's still some piles of crap out there, how they still manage to be on the road, but they're probably like 15 steps back from what they are. You know what I mean? If you had a 20-step thing, whereas 5 is getting fairly bad, you really need to do something to your vehicle, you need to do some maintenance. Well, 10 would be, okay, it's getting fairly fucked. We probably, over here you would be looking for another vehicle, or a lot of the ones that you're driving over there would be pushing towards the 15 to 20, like in just suspension wise. They're just absolutely flogged. Like, basically just unbolt it and just throw it all away and just put all brand new stuff on it, you know, without even thinking about it. So you wouldn't even look, you just take it off and throw it away. God, some of them are bad over there. Absolutely incredible. See all sorts of funny things. So, anyway, guys, so that's my few stories, but shit, yeah, there's some piles of shit over there. But there's some really nice cars, and some cars are really well maintained, but God, some of them are just absolutely, you know, like, and I don't know, you know, like when I see the rusted stuff and the Arco and thing comes along. Well, the rust isn't like that over there because there's no salt on the roads, because except just in the year, we don't have salt on the roads here either, even when we get snow, because we just use grit. We don't get it often enough, but yeah, I've even seen some vehicles over there with some pretty bad rust. Nowhere near what Arco and that comes across with the way they vehicles right out in Minnesota, but I've seen some pretty good rust holes and shit start to fall apart over there too. But yeah, I think I'd be shocked if I ever got to the States and seen some of the stuff that Arco has to deal with. Righty, actually I forgot to before give a call out to some other people. I've been thinking about it. Dave from Scott Rods, tell us about your craziest cobbled up piece of whatever that you've worked on, seen, whatever, because I know you worked on some stuff when you were in Scotland and all that sort of stuff, so that'd be pretty cool to hear. Who else can I pick on? The boys from Sobering Restorations. You must have seen some pretty interesting bits and pieces over there that you've worked on. Some really clapped out things that people were just driving around normal. And maybe how about Big Easy and Bobo from Coastal Outlaw, Coastal Auto Reaction. Tell us some of the craziest clapped out pieces of garbage that you've seen or worked on or whatever over the years. Yeah, I think that'll do. I did think about a couple others, but no, these will do. I'm pretty sure that some of these boys will pick on some of the other ones that are around them, so I'll leave it up to them. Alrighty guys, cheers.